back
to SCTV. I'm Aaron Wilkins.
And I'm Maddie Hayes.
And as we said last week, this is a little bit different vibe than we had from last year. I mean, it's a lot more relaxed, it's less formal, and it's kind of like a podcast vibe. We're still going to report real news, professional news, but we're going to do it much more relaxed state.
And we're going to have 3 camera angles. So we're going to have this camera.
We're going to have this camera and this main one right here.
As you can see, we already made some new adjustments, like this new background here.
We're in a different location, same room, just different angle, and we're going to continue to improve this with maybe better seats, more backgrounds, just cool stuff.
Let's get into the news.
For our first news story this week, Max Trembly, one of our new members of the Practicum, did a story on the new vocal and music facilities. Let's check it out.
I went to Luther College up in Decorah, so I'm very familiar with the small liberal arts college setting. What I would like students to be able to take away from their interactions with me is that I hope that they have learned something more, not only about music, but about themselves. I tell my trumpet students especially that by the time they leave lessons with me, I want them to be able to have the framework to be able to teach themselves, how to get better and how to improve. I see the job of a college professor is to help guide young adults to the point where then, they're ready to go out into the world and be the best professional that they can possibly be, and again, the best person that they can be.
Director of opera, assistant professor of music. I have a bachelor's and a master's and a doctorate all in music. Wow, why do I think music is important? That's kind of reminds me of that old movie Dead Poets Society with Robin Williams. He asks his class, why do we read poetry? Because we're human, right? And I think the same is with music. We have an innate need to create and listen to sounds that resonate both literally and figuratively within us, and that help us express ourselves emotionally, and that hold up a mirror to us and show us ourselves in a different form. So whatever that is, style is irrelevant. It's individual for everyone. So students, their takeaway from me, I hope they feel supported and validated for who they are in their journey. And it doesn't matter if they were music majors when they were here. It doesn't matter if they are successful if they're here. It's about the journey, and it's about who they are and feeling seen and supported.
Aaron, I wish I had some musical talent. Unfortunately, I don't.
Well, unfortunately I do, but my voice just hurts right now, so I better not make it worse. Well, let's move on to the next story. Big week on campus for Greek life. Sorority and fraternities are going through rush week the past couple weeks here.
Liam Weber has the story. Let's check it out.
I am the Vice President of Membership for Kappa Kappa Gamma. I delegate recruitment. I help with our informal and formal recruitment, and I make sure that our new members get their bids and stuff. Recruitment, depending on if it's formal. So formal, it's structured by Panhell, and we have 3 days. We have introduction and then philanthropy, and then we do have our preference day too. We just try to meet with honestly as many new members that we can, and we talk with them and just see if they're a good fit. And we're recruiting for all of Panhell, so not just Kappa. And so for COB, that's our informal recruitment, and we just do 3-4 events, and we get members to come to the house, and I think they have to come to 2 events in order to qualify to get a bid. But so that's pretty fun. Recruitment is September 20th through the 22nd, and then that's formal recruitment. And then we have COB that follows immediately after. Okay. So the 20th we have our introduction round, so we do house tours and just to get to know our specific house. And then the second day, so that'd be the 21st, we have like our philanthropy day. So it's all about our philanthropy. Kappa's philanthropy is like mental health and well-being. So we just like do some like fun activities to get to know like what our philanthropy is and like who our partners are. And then third day, so the 22nd, it's like preference day. So that's when like the new members or like potential new members come back to the house on like, so they were high on their list and they're high on ours. So that's like the round that's like, we gotta really sell it to them, if that makes sense. And then they like, it's this really cool like thing to where like we really get to connect with them more on a more personal level. And then they come back if they decide to come back to our house. And then we have like a big bid day party and just celebrate that they are home with us. So
Good luck to sororities, fraternities this upcoming week. Hope you get a lot of people in your house.
Back to mine and hopefully your favorite section, the Would You Rather. Today for our Would You Rather, we're gonna make a phone call to Sam Hine, who has absolutely no idea we're gonna call him for our question.
Cool.
All right, so we have a question for you today, Sam.
Yeah, what is it?
Can you come up with our Would You Rather for this week's segment?
I would love to, but you put me right on the spot. But if I had to come up with a would you rather question, it'd probably be, would you rather eat every meal at Pfeiffer or have to be a student in Mr. Siebert's class?
What do you?
Alright.
What's your answer here to your Would You Rather?
You want an honest answer or a joking answer?
Keep it honest here.
If I had to answer this question, it's close, but I'd much rather have Professor Siebert as my teacher so I could look at his bald head all day.
All right. Well, thanks for the help.
Honestly, like Sam said, it's a tough question. I don't know what I would choose either. Probably gotta go have a class with Professor Siebert.
You traveled with him.
I did, but no. It was a good question from Sam. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Professor Siebes isn't that bad.
Well, now that we're done with that, let's move on to sports. We're going to start the sports section off with some scores from the away games this past week. Men's tennis took a trip to Grandview where they lost 5-2. Women's soccer went to Grinnell where they dominated, winning 4-0. Along with the women's soccer, men's soccer was on the road where they got the win 1-0. Women's volleyball had their usual weekend tournament going 2-1 and being the number 21 ranked team, Cornell College. Men and women's cross country had a meet this past week where the men's team placed 3rd out of 5 and the women's team placed 3rd out of 4. Women's soccer took a weekend trip to Minnesota where they tied both games.
Our first sports story is from Sam Campin about the new tennis coach.
Let's check it out.
The Simpson College tennis teams have a new director. Nicole Berger was hired in August of this year. She is the director of both teams, but only the head coach of the women. She's working to be involved with both teams.
It's just balancing the time between the both teams and really getting to know the men's team, even though I'm not coaching them, and make sure they're aware that I'm here to support them any way they need, and just continue to grow both programs.
Storm women's tennis started the season 2-0. Coach Berger cites mental toughness as a key to their success.
We've improved a ton, but also the mental toughness has been a big component of, even though you lose a point, like you're not going to lose a game or a couple games because you're upset about a point, 4 points ago. Instead, they're focusing on, their game strategy, their game plan, and then reinforcing that they, are going to continue to succeed.
Women's tennis team captain Bella Tranquillino mentioned how the team culture has improved this year compared to previous years.
I think that the culture's just elevated a lot from my freshman year. I think my teammates were really encouraging throughout all my years, but I think we've just grown a lot in our skill and just like our tennis IQ from my freshman year to now, especially with the new coach. I think she's really helped elevate our play and also just like change the culture of our mental game along with our physical game.
Coach Berger says mental toughness and continuing to implement strategies from practice into the matches will be the keys to continued success. The Storm will be on the road on Friday to take on Nebraska Wesleyan. Reporting for SCTV, I'm Sam Campin.
Sounds like the tennis program's going to continue to grow. Oh man, I miss playing doubles with you, Bella. Sounds like the tennis program's going to grow. Morgan Rosenbeck covered our next story, football highlights.
Football had their first home game this past weekend, so let's see how it turned out.
The Simpson Storm football team took the field with fierce determination against Crown College for their first home game of the season and delivered a dominating performance, securing a resounding 45-7 victory. Senior quarterback Jay Jensen was in control, throwing 3 touchdowns and setting the tone for the Storm's offensive powerhouse. Freshman running back DeMarco Young had a breakout game, rushing for an impressive 171 yards and scoring his first 2 collegiate touchdowns. He was unstoppable on the ground, making his mark early in his career. Sophomore Quentin King also had a stellar game, rushing for 116 yards and securing his first collegiate touchdown. Freshman wide receiver Noah Craycraft put on a show, racking up an incredible 206 receiving yards and finding the end zone twice. Junior Cole Staska added to the offensive explosion, powering his way into the end zone for his first touchdown of the season. Freshman Aiden Lanier was flawless on special teams, going 4 for 4 on extra points and drilling a 36-yard field goal. Senior Jesse Pladson also contributed, nailing both of his PA attempts. The defense was equally relentless, with sophomore Isaac Oswald making his mark with his first collegiate interception and returning it for 47 yards. Sophomore Peyton Betts joined the action with his first interception of the season, and freshman Xavier Parker snagged his first collegiate pick as well. Senior Wyatt Shaban led the defensive effort with 4 solo tackles and 6 assisted tackles, including 2 tackles for loss and 1 pass breakup. Freshman Adonis McKenzie was a force as well, with 4 solo tackles and 2 assisted tackles, including 2 tackles for loss. Junior CJ Hangartner was a wrecking ball, tallying 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 forced fumble. Senior El Jaboria also stepped up with 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles, and 1 pass breakup. Senior Wyatt Manning delivered a key play, recording 1.5 tackles for loss and a sack, driving Crown's offense further back. The Storm defense was dominant, recording a total of 59 tackles, 4 sacks for a loss of 22 yards, 13 tackles for a loss totaling 41 yards, 3 interceptions for 68 yards, and 4 pass breakups. Simpson College showed their strength on both sides of the ball in this complete team effort, proving they will be a force to be reckoned with this season. The team is back in action at 1 p.m. this Saturday against Dubuque. From SCTV, I'm Morgan Rosenbeck.
That will be the game with the final score, Simpson 45, Crown 7.
Wow, Simpson took the W.
Big W's for the Storm. Love to see that from our guys.
Speaking of good wins, men's soccer.
Huge game for those guys.
I wish I was there.
Jack Perkins caught the highlights for that game.
Let's check it out.
The men's Simpson soccer team had their first home game of the season. They played a close match against Knox. The first half did not have many goals for Simpson, with only 1 goal by number 7 Mitchell Dixon, making the score 2-1 Knox at halftime. The second half, Simpson caught fire and was able to put 3 goals in the back of the net, with many other shots coming extremely close. The first goal of the second half came from number 10, Ronaldo Ordaz, putting the score 3-2 Knox.
Goal for the Storm!
The second goal for the half came from number 10, Ronaldo Ordaz, again tying the game 3-3. The final goal for Simpson came from number 13, Zach Klein, to put Simpson ahead 4-3. The final score of the game was 4-3 Simpson, with the men's soccer team taking the first game at home as a win. Reporting for SCTV, this is Jack Perkins.
Big comeback. That's crazy.
That was huge. I was there, and it was crazy to watch. Great team effort from those guys.
That's awesome. That's going to do it for this week.
Thank you guys all for tuning in. Come back next week for even more. Hopefully it's even more improved. Also, for SCTV, I'm Aaron Wilkins.
And I'm Maddie Hayes.